Hi, my name is Ryan Wiedemann, and I've got my dad Dave here today, and we're going to be covering the brown bag with Dave and Ryan, hot topics in Sedalia housing and beyond, and just a little bit about our reasoning behind doing the webinar. Real estate is oftentimes the biggest asset in somebody's life, and with particularly the pandemic going on, we want to make sure we're keeping people informed with what is going on out in the public. Our thought is what better way than bringing in some others involved in the real estate transaction and allowing the public to learn a little bit more about key local figures, and also give them a chance to bounce some questions off these people. With that in mind, we have invited Todd Lewis in with us today, and Todd's going to be covering some topics on title fraud and maybe ways we can work with dealing with protecting ourselves on that. Todd is a third generation in the title industry. He's with Truman Title, in which was founded by his grandfather, Jim Lewis, in 1973. Todd's following in his grandfather and his dad, Steve's footsteps. And Truman Title was formerly Pettis County Abstract and Title. They changed their name in 2017. Alongside that, they have purchased 6 offices. They started with Sedalia being the original, and now they're in Marshall, Warrensburg, Higginsville, Lexington, and Odessa. Todd oversees the Pettis County and Saline County offices as president of the company. And then another involved family member, brother Drew, is the vice president over the Johnson and Lafayette County offices. Todd, outside of the work, has taught classes in the Missouri Land Title Association's title school, and he's also a past recipient of the MLTA Young Title Professional of the Year Award. Todd grew up in Sedalia as a Smith Cotton graduate. His lovely wife and him have 3 awesome kids, and Todd considers himself the luckiest man alive. So we will hear from Todd in just a second. As far as today's format goes, we are going to have 3 segments today. The first one, my father will jump in, and he's going to cover a little bit on how we have gone paperless here at RE/MAX and the benefits of that for you, the end consumer. And then he's going to then jump in and give you a quick thumbnail as to what the current market's looking like, particularly, and we're starting to get some figures in on the post-pandemic orders. Then Todd's going to, as we mentioned, cover some hot topics in title fraud. And then thereafter, we're going to open it to questions and answers. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put everybody on pause or on mute. And then if you have any questions along the way, or you prefer not to ask them publicly, put it in the chat room to myself, and we will make sure and get them covered. I'll be keeping watch on that. And if there is something that looks like it's going to be a lengthy answer, we will ask that you give details in that same chat area, and I will make sure either ourselves or Todd get back to you on that one. Thirdly, if there is a question that looks like it's we don't happen to know the answer on, same thing, we'll definitely get back with you. So bearing all that, we're going to hand it over to my dad, Dave, and he's going to give you some feel on the local real estate.
Good, thank you, Ryan. Today I want to spend a couple of minutes discussing Ryan and I and Remax of Sedalia's efforts to remain cutting edge in real estate technology. Ryan and I are currently updating our what is referred to as CRM software. CRM in the real estate business stands for Customer Relations Management Software. This system allows us to make sure that we do not miss any important deadlines during real estate transactions. It also allows us to keep our past and future clients informed as to what is happening in the current real estate market and how we may be of service to them, even though there is no current active transactions. We feel this is a very important thing at all times. From the company standpoint, Remax of Sedalia converted to what's known as a paperless system on January 1 of 2019. That means we keep all of our transactions files in a digital format instead of a big filing cabinet and later in boxes. To our customers and clients, this means that we can recover your records from years past just by calling up a file for printing and do not have to dig out of the boxes if it's more than a couple of years old. We do retain all of our transactions for at least 5 years. All of the changes we make are being done so we can provide you with quality, cutting-edge customer service you deserve. 2 weeks ago on our webcast, I indicated that by this week's get-together, I hope we might be able to get a feel of how the pandemic is affecting real estate in Pettis County. I'm going to try to do that today and to give you my opinion, hopefully backed by some numbers, as to what, if any, effect the pandemic is having on our real estate market. One of the ways that I chose to compare pre-pandemic numbers of homes under contract versus the number of homes currently under contract. To do this, I looked at the number of homes under contract in Pettis County on May 11 of this year versus the number under contract on March of 2020. That would be just before the stay-home order. And also from May 13 of 2019, 1 year previous. On May 13, 2019, there were 68 homes under contract in Pettis County and 214 homes for sale. On March 16 of 2020, just before the stay-home order, there were 61 homes under contract with 206 for sale. On May 11, 2020, that is current, there were 66 homes under contract and 210 homes for sale. Just based on these numbers, I would say that there's been a little effect from the pandemic. Although I have no absolute numbers to support it, the consensus of our office salesperson is that the number of showings we're looking at has definitely been lower during the pandemic. A possibility is that at the start of the year, we were looking at having a significantly better year in 2020, and the effect of the pandemic has been to cause the market to drop back to an average market. I guess we'll just have to explore that possibility in a future webinar. It is now my pleasure to welcome Todd Lewis, one of the owners of Truman Titles, who will discuss some of the happenings that are important in the real estate transaction. Just before Todd takes over, we're going to play a quick commercial that you have probably seen if you have cable TV that relates to real estate title fraud and somebody's suggested answer to it. Ryan, could you give us that commercial, and then Todd, it'll be all yours.
Okay, thank you, Dave. cyber criminals to go. You would not believe how easy it is for cyber criminals to go online, steal the title to your home, and drain all your equity.
These criminals, when they stole my home, they stole my retirement. I have nothing left. They took it all.
It's called home title theft, and it can happen to you. Thieves are after money, and they get it by forging your home's title, so it looks like you sold your home. Then they take out loans against your home and leave you with nothing.
These thieves, they take everything from you. They know how to use the system. They know how to get you out of your property. That's exactly what happened to me.
Go to HometitleLock.com to see if you're already a victim. Sign up right now to receive a free title scan and report. $100 value, absolutely free.
If it hadn't been for Home Title Lock, I could have lost the equity in my home. We got it fixed right away.
Don't wait. Go to HometitleLock.com now to defend your home against equity theft criminals. That's HometitleLock.com.
Okay, so while Ryan's getting our stuff back up for our topics for today, talking about that Home Title Lock commercial, you probably have either seen that on TV or heard it on the radio, and so we're just going to kind of talk about that, why they are advertising that product, what that product is, and if that's something of value to you. And so starting off, going through the idea of what is title fraud. So a little bit from that commercial, you can kind of get a sense of it, but what they're really trying to do is give you notice if there is somebody who tries to do something fraudulently with the title to your property. And it's a little easier these days to do something like that because we live in this digital world. Recordings can be filed online. Documents, it's easier to maybe be able to copy a signature and some things like that. And so the idea is that you would have somebody nefariously try to forge some documents to make it either look like you had sold your property to somebody else, transfer the title to somebody else, or possibly maybe borrowed money on your home without your knowledge by forging some documents, trying to take out a loan to be able to do that. And so we know that that can be a problem. The FBI, since I think about 2008, has kind of had it on its radar. It's not been one of those things that have been a huge deal in our area, but just kind of having some knowledge about it. That's basically what they're doing. They're going to either try to fraudulently do a signature and make it look like you either sold your property or you borrowed money on it. So going into the next part, the next topic that we're going to be discussing in regards with this is how can that, what is the risk that we have here in Pettis County. And so the risk in Pettis County is going to be minimal in comparison to other areas. And that's partially due to the fact that we are a more rural area. People know people more. We tend to see things a little easier. You don't have the same names for 20 different people that you might have in the Kansas City or St. Louis area or something like that. We're less likely to have a lot of individuals that own a number of properties that maybe aren't managing all those properties or keeping regular track of those properties, that may see mailings that come to those properties and things like that. And so also, being in a rural part of Missouri, our values of our properties are going to be less than they're going to be in some areas. And so when you have individuals that are trying to do these things, they're going to be looking for properties that might have one owner that owns multiple properties and is less likely to be paying attention. They're going to be looking for properties that don't have liens against the properties already. They're going to be looking for properties where it's going to be a little easier and less likely for people to be able to figure that out in a short period of time. So because we do live in Pettis County, we've got a smaller population, we've got more people that are looking at those things. It's going to be a little less likely for that to happen here than it would be in other areas. And so I would say there's less concern in that regard for us. So next, moving on, after looking at the title fraud part and then looking at what that effect would be for us in our area, I wanted to get in a little bit about the difference between what the title lock does versus what title insurance does. The idea with title lock is that it is going to notify you of any issues that happened on your property in the future. And so what they would do is they would monitor recordings that would be filed. And if something got filed on your property, you would get a notice of that from them that says, hey, a document was filed on your title. And similar to if you have some kind of credit bureau protection, credit report protection, that they would notify you if something hit on your credit report. So it's giving you information of things that happened in the future, whereas title insurance protects you for things that have happened in the past. And so we're reviewing everything that's happened prior to make sure that when you get your property, that you have clear title to it, that the right people are signing the documents, that it's being signed properly. We're taking care of any mortgages, unpaid taxes, liens, things like that. So title insurance protects you from everything in the past to make sure that you have clear title at the time that you buy the property, whereas title lock protection would be something that would provide you information if something happened in the future. It doesn't fix that for you. It just notifies you if there would be a problem that would arise in that instance. So just quickly finishing up, what can you do to protect yourself, or is title lock the thing that you need? Because the things that they are looking for are recorded documents. All of those recorded documents are public record. And so there are some things that you can do in our area that can help you to be able to check this stuff yourself if you decide to. The records at the Pettis County Recorder's Office are available to the public. It's a little more difficult right now because of the situation that we're in with the coronavirus stuff, but you can go and access those properties and see if something has been filed against your property recently. You may notice that in the paper they will give you usually show all the different deeds that are filed. And so you can look at that to see if your name appeared and you didn't sell the property. That's going to be a little bit of a surprise to you and something that you would then want to check out. We also have our tax assessors have a GIS mapping, and you can go on there and look at your specific tax parcels and see how they've got it listed for taxes. And that would let you know if it's in your name or if it's in someone else's name. And so in our area, there are several ways that you can do this protection yourself. If you're one of those people that have large concerns and worry about those kind of things, title lock, I think, is $180 a month or so. It would give you notice of those items, but those are things that you can find out on yourself here if you just go through a couple simple little steps. So that's basically my thoughts on the title protection and this home title lock. If we have some time, we can open up to some questions, and I'll be able to help as best as I can. If it's something that's going to be outside of my area of expertise, we'll get the information and we'll try to get back in touch with you and see if we can help you that way. So I'll open up for questions.
Todd, this is Dave. I'm interested. I always got the idea when they was advertising the title lock, they was actually doing something to keep it. I was wondering if they recorded something or not. But it sounds like all that they're going to do is notify you that something has happened on your title. Let's say you had that and they did call you. What could you do about it?
So if something appears on your title that you are not familiar with or you have some concern about, there'd be a couple things that I would try to do immediately. One of those things would be to probably go and check the records at the courthouse and see what all did in fact get filed. From there, there is some information that we can provide to you at the title office so that if you've got some concern, you don't know what those documents are, I'm happy for you to come by and for us to sit in there and kind of explain what those documents are, what they mean, what it means for you. Beyond that, if it's something that is of enough concern, that can be a a problem for you title wise, my recommendation would go to seek a good real estate attorney. They're going to be able to provide you with information in regards to what needs to be done to clear it up. You need to find out, try to see if you can find out who it was that filed those documents, what their intent is by doing that, so that you can stop something from happening. A lot of times, if you see that something that's filed fraudulently, the attorney might at least be able to get something on record that shows that you are aware or you believe that those documents are fraudulent, so that it can keep that person from going and doing something else. If I transferred into my name and then fraudulently, and then I try to sell it, if there's a document out there that says, hey, we believe this was a fraudulent transaction, that might stop that next individual that did the fraudulent work from being able to sell to somebody else or being able to borrow that money. So definitely go and get with a real estate attorney and see if they might be able to help to provide some information for you and some insight of what direction to go to get that resolved. Any other questions?
Todd, I'm going to try one more and go back to pick up on some of what I have said. Of course, you get to see, and because you work not only with us, but with other many other realtors and just in general, what has your situation looked like on the real estate activity since the pandemic? Have you seen a change in orders or anything like that?
You know, it's kind of funny that you asked that. We're doing a closing right before this, and I was talking to one of the customers about the fact that we have felt very blessed during this time, because our business has been considered essential from the government, which allows us to remain open, allows us to continue to be able to pay our employees and keep our employees active. We've gone digital like you were talking about, so it's allowed some employees to be able to work from home for a time during that process too. I'll be honest with you, rates have been low, so we have seen a large amount of refinances. That has also, I think, helped to keep people interested in purchasing homes, because that home, you know, it may be on the higher end of your price range, but all of a sudden, if you can get 1% lower, that may save you a couple $100 a month. And now all of a sudden that becomes a house that is a doable thing, when before it may have been stretching your budget a little bit. So for us, we have not seen much of a setback on it, which like I said, we have just been extremely fortunate in our industry right now that we've kind of been protected against the things that have gone on during this time.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate that.
Anybody else out in the audience have any questions for Todd before we wrap up? And if I'll share a screen here, if anybody does run into questions along the way that today's event brought to mind, here's our details, here's Todd's. And we definitely thank you to everybody for taking time out of your lunch break. And we also, for those that weren't unable to be here, we will be doing a recording, so watch for it in Facebook. We'll keep you updated, and we will continue doing this on a bi-weekly basis. The Real Estate Hot Topics, our next one will be May 28th at noon. It'll be Dana Borglum of Snedden Inspection Services. He's a whole house inspector, so he'll be bringing some good information on why do you need a full house inspection with a home purchase. So mark that down. And just another reminder, we will be continuing to get updated statistics on the real estate market with the pandemic as time goes by. So definitely thank you, Todd, and thank you everybody in attendance, and have a terrific afternoon.
Ryan, thank you. Be happy to do it again anytime. Appreciate it.